We're here at the Xquisite Catamarans base in the Bahamas, and honestly, our BS detector has been going off ever since we first heard about this place. And we're here as a part of our soul-searching mission for our next boat home, because we are investigating all the vessels that have caught our attention over the years and those that are spanking new. But Xquisite is one of those boats that keeps coming up in conversations with almost a cult-like following. But here's the thing, everything we've heard sounds a little too perfect, because people talk about this whole community experience and next level service and basically solving every pain point of boat ownership, sort of like a utopian commune, which immediately makes us suspicious, because from our experience, when something sounds too good to be true in the marine world, it typically is. So we had to come and see for ourselves. Is it legit, or is this just really slick marketing? So we are taking out the X5, touring the facilities, and most importantly, we plied one of the owners with a sundowner to get the unfiltered truth. And fair warning, it is going to sound like we are just gushing about the place at times, so stick with us to the very end to get our final thoughts on everything.
So this entire facility is what they're calling the Exquisite base, and we're calling it the Commune. And it really all starts here at the marina. So this marina is exclusively for Exquisite yachts and potential customers of Exquisite. We'll come back to that later. So right next to the marina is the resort portion of the commune, and on the top is apart hotels, I guess you could call it, because they are 3-bedroom apartments that sort of work like a hotel. The idea is you bring your boat in for service, your boat is 3 bedrooms, you take your stuff off that you want straight into the apartment, and then all the technicians and the managers can get on your boat, do all the service, and you don't have to live in that mess. You're not stuck on the boat during service, which I can tell you from personal experience, it makes it a lot better not to feel like it's surrounding you all the time. It can be a little much. On the bottom level, that is where all the service technicians and management live. Because we are on a small island in the Bahamas, there's not a lot of housing. This way, they're close to the base, they're all together, and that also helps foster that community aspect, because you have this bigger connection, I guess, with your service provider, with the technician, whoever's working on your boat. You're sort of living and working together and learning. I wish I could show you the inside of the apartments, but they are still under construction. They are very, very close. All right, to the galley.
So this whole area here is called the Galley, mostly because of the restaurant that they have. There is a huge outdoor area, obviously a pool. There is an outdoor bar, little gazebo area, but just generally the galley is where everybody hangs out. And it is open to the restaurant is open to the public, but generally this is just for the owners to enjoy.
This is a rum cake with a shot of rum. Squeeze it. Wow, so cool.
Is it boozy?
It's boozy. Cocktail and dessert. Nice.
And just past the outdoor bar is, well, first I would call this the aquarium, because of course it is the Bahamas and there are fish and turtles, eagle rays and stingrays and everything else cruising through here all the time. We even saw a seahorse just at the dock. So it is nuts around here. But this right here is the pass. So that's how close you are to the open ocean. So getting in and out of here is a breeze.
Sticking with the commune theme, there are community toys. So you've got wave runners and wakeboards and ocean kayaks, paddle boards, and there's even bicycles, beach bikes and mountain bikes.
Hey, kitty.
Hi.
Oh, aren't you pretty? Oh, are you so happy? Are you so happy?
Somebody wants to play.
While they might not have the apartments finished, they do have the shower facilities, which are available for anybody. And they have a laundry room. All right, we're getting close. I think we can go to the boats now. So now we are finally on to the marina where all the boats are. These are all 5Xs, and these are all individually owned boats by different people who choose to leave them here. And then just down the dock, we have hull number 1 of the 30, and we have hull number 1 of the Solar 60. And those are both owned by Xquisite, because they do something very unique, which is they always reserve hull number 1 for themselves. So they use themselves as the guinea pigs instead of using their customers so that they can fully test them hard, charter them, make sure that they've figured out all their issues, all their design flaws. Hopefully, doesn't mean no boat is ever perfect, but it helps them out a lot for hull number 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. I'm rolling, and I do like his dog.
Yeah, it's great, right? So this is an exclusive Exquisite dock and commune, as we're calling it. And it's kind of crazy because you see here a Neil, and there's a Bali behind me, and an FP over there. And why these boats are here kind of blows my mind. It's something I wouldn't have expected to see in the marine industry. Essentially, if you want to buy a new Exquisite, you can bring your boat here, they will dock it, they will list it, and they will sell it for 0 fees. And when you're working with like 2 different brokers, a buyer's and a seller's broker, you can spend up to 10% on selling your boat. So if you have a $500,000 boat or $1 million boat, that is a crap load of money that you can then put directly in to buying your new boat. So it's friendly, it's like fostering family, and it's giving you a big ass discount. Like that's the sales pitch of the year. It's just so cool.
Are you buying one?
Oh yeah, I know, right? If I had a boat to sell,
yeah.
I would definitely consider it.
Okay, I just wanted to pop in here to say that we are not being paid or sponsored by Exquisite Catamarans. We invited ourselves here because we are just genuinely curious about the boats and the ownership experience, and we are investigating all of our seafaring options right now, new, used, and otherwise. But if something is paid or sponsored, then we will make it clear, like right now, because this video is possible thanks to our sponsor, Surfshark VPN. And we have spent our own hard-earned money on Surfshark for years because trying to run a business abroad or just digital life in general is almost impossible without it. And if you don't know what a VPN is, it stands for Virtual Private Network. And it encrypts all the data between our devices and the internet so that nobody can steal or track our information, which is super important when we're on public Wi-Fi, like at an airport or a cafe. And most people know and use a VPN so that they can change their IP address to virtually place themselves anywhere in the world to unblock websites or avoid geo restrictions on streaming sites like Netflix, which is totally worth the monthly fee alone. But there are so many other security features. Like Surfshark has a cookie and an ad blocker so that we get organic search results. And there's Clean Web, which helps protect us from phishing attempts and malware. And then Alternative ID helps keep our personal information, well, personal, so that we can avoid spam and data leaks. It's seriously an invaluable tool for us. And right now, if you head over to surfshark.com/wins or use code WINS at checkout, then you will get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. And if you're not sure if it's a good tool for you, no worries. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there is no risk to try it out. Just scan the QR code on the screen, or I will drop a link down in the description box below. Okay, because these are all individually owned boats and they are in for service, it means people leave their belongings on here and they're not all necessarily in like come and take a tour condition, but we are going to bounce between 2 different boats to be able to kind of have a complete tour of the Exquisite X5
Plus.
All right, go on. Almost forgot, but then Jason reminded me, this right here is a very cool feature. That is what you plug your water hose into if you're at a dock that has water. And it doesn't go into your tanks, it feeds directly from that water hose, which means you never have to put dock water into your tanks. You could leave those for just your water maker water. And now this is the dock water, because sometimes like you want to use that for washing clothes and the boat or showering and all those things. But it depends on where you are in the world. Like it may or may not be something that you want to put in your tanks. Like water quality varies a lot. So I think that's a really cool feature. That is super standard on every single RV, I believe.
I don't know why it's not on boats.
Exactly. I don't know why it's not on boats. So that we were very happy to see. This is not going to be like a full-on every spec, every detail kind of tour. It's going to be the 2-cent tour, but there still are a lot of details to cover on these boats because, man, they are fully freaking loaded. This one is interesting because it is still a storage underneath here if you lift the whole thing up. Don't look, again, personally on boats. We're not going to shame anybody here, but there is scuba tank storage that comes built in, and then your custom built-in dive compressor. You'll be able to fill your tanks right there. It's just so well thought out. But that becomes a little sun lounger. So moving into the rest of the cockpit, we have 2 tables here. One massive table here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for dinner on this table. And I do always like the Xquisite tables just because they are the solid woods. They're really lovely. It adds a nice warm touch to the decor. And they have the little kind of seared in map, which is very travel or sailory. I like it. I dig it. And then we have another sort of like almost breakfast nook over here. They both lower and raise. This one happens to be electric driven so that they become like daybed / lounging areas. I mean, this boat is made for entertaining and for lounging. Up at the helm, we have everything run here. So this boat is made to single hand if you want to, all within an arm's reach, quite literally. You've got windows for your view of your mainsail. You can definitely see all my forward sails. You've got a nice view kind of aft so you can see what's going on back there with your traveler and all that stuff. And then they've got all the built-in cameras. So we've got views of our transoms on both sides. Ooh, so I guess if you were docking, I can see exactly where we're at here. And then the top-down view. That's really nice. Yeah, great for tight quarter maneuvering for sure. Everything is electric, push button.
Electric winches, electric throttles.
Yeah, I mean, they just set these boats up so that they are painfully easy to operate.
And all the lines fall down.
All
straight
into
the
a
locker.
taut, yeah. So no coiling, no stowing, all tidy and tucked away at all times.
And we found that we really prefer foot switches. When you're unfurling, you use these finger ones, so that's great.
Yeah, because jib and genoa.
When you actually have a rope in your hand, you want to use the foot switch.
Yes, you want to be able to use both hands to operate, do whatever you need to do. I don't like having to have one hand doing this, one hand doing something else. I know that's very nitpicky, but that's the way I like it. I'm not going to go too heavy into the helm station or to the sails and all of that because we have taken one of these out already. Technically, we already did. That was the very first thing we did when we got here.
We landed on the plane and we sailed.
And we immediately hopped on a boat and we went out. So what I'm going to do, maybe, is just go ahead and I am going to cut to that footage now. You're going to go back in time, watch us sailing one of these, and then I'm going to meet you back here. But you'll be with me the whole time. Try not to get confused.
That's your camera showing your top-down furler.
That's right. And then
Yeah. Oh wow, it's got a boom camera, mass camera. That's so cool to see.
So we've only got 10 knots of true wind. Apparent is only, 7.7. And then our boat speed.
let's not be going down. Let's just go closer to the wind because we like downwind.
Let's heat it up a little, heat it up a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, show them a little speed here, man.
That's okay, cruiser's favorite way is downwind, so.
Nice because you can control all the lines with just 2 winches. 8 knots already. We'll heat up now.
Here we go, I can feel it already.
I know, so we're already, I can see it. It's 8.5 at least, and we've only got 12 knots of wind. So,
Oh.
I mean, we're moving.
Yeah, I can feel it wants to pick up a little bit more.
There she goes.
GPS speed, 8.6, 8.7. We hit 9 earlier, and about 11 to 12 knots of true wind.
Yes.
When you consider the type of boat that you're on, you look at this boat and you look at all the comfort in there and you look at all the finishings and you just think, she's gonna be a slow boat. I didn't expect her to do quite this well.
Yeah, 8.5, 9 knots and 12. That's pretty damn good.
So if this is what it looks like in 12 knots of wind, what's it look like in 20?
20? Jeez,
Yeah.
we've been out for like 10 minutes. We've been surprised by the engines and the sailing capability.
Yeah, so far,
Yeah.
I mean, very impressive. Really, very luxurious boat. That's all I can keep thinking is
Yeah.
on like the finishings, the fit, the way she feels.
I didn't expect this at all.
No, I think that's why it's so surprising because you just kind of think, oh, it'll just be like any other production boat, but it's really not.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now we're only 10 minutes in, so we'll see what happens.
That's true. There you go, 9 knots and 13 knots of true wind. It's just such a different experience, you know. It's like you've got your kind of performance-oriented boats, and then you have got your like comfort cruiser boats, and this is definitely in that category. Like everything feels, honestly, it's sort of like that bridge in between like a super yacht and just a regular yacht. I guess there's a thing. It's a size difference thing, but like the railing is more kind of like super yacht style. It's how wide and open the decks are, how easy it is to move around everything. Like it's definitely built for somebody who's looking for comfort and ease and just to enjoy your passage in like that chill, easygoing vibes. Like you're moving, it's a beautiful day, but it is awfully comfortable. Almost so comfortable that you're like, is this really sailing? It feels different. I don't know why. Do you feel the same way?
It's the way they're working this boat with all these systems, it seems so easy. Like it's too easy. Like they're not trying hard enough.
Right? It feels too easy.
It
Like
feels too easy.
yeah.
Something's, you know, there's gonna be something. We're gonna find something, I swear. I did find my first complaint.
Ooh, what was that? I don't know what you're talking about. Is that a drop of water?
This is a small hole in my new linen pants
Why?
because they didn't tape off the split pins. So I'll go talk to Tomas about that.
Yeah.
Just give him my complaint.
Show me that split pin again.
Okay, so the split pin is right here. Now
No,
granted,
no. Who in their right mind is leaning over that?
yeah, the photographer is trying to get halfway under the boat while we're sailing. So.
Okay, I thought it was going to be something a little more.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna ask him. Let's go ask him and see what he says.
Okay,
and
let's
film
go.
him. Tomas, I found my first complaint.
Okay.
There's a hole in my new linen pants. It's from a split pin.
Okay.
What do you say about that?
Where is that? Where was this?
Do you want to go
All
show
the
'em?
way forward at the very seagull striker.
Okay, you shouldn't rub your butt on the split pins. That's kind of the first one I would say, but I have to check. Sorry.
You shouldn't rub your butt on the split pins. There you go.
No matter where you're from, all around the world, it's one unique, one special vibe.
These are our numbers from the Genoa. 70 true wind angle, 11 knots of true wind, 6.5, 7 knots of speed. Yeah, almost 7. That's pretty good. Pretty darn good.
Look at that fancy stuff.
Give me the heads up
Nice
before
view.
you start.
Oh, wow. Somebody tell that cameraman to get out of the way. I already got that shot.
Oh,
I can see it right here.
that's right.
Camera's really helpful.
Yeah.
Keeps you from getting a bad rap.
Hey, Jason.
Yep.
That's our first in-boom
Our
furling.
first ever in-boom furling. Oh, But we did on the 135-foot super yacht destination.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. That's like a whole new category.
Yeah, this is our first cruiser size
There you go.
furling system. Infinitely reefable, which sounds very appealing. So when you're out to sea and you're putting your boat to bed at night, you can reef down very easily to whatever amount of sail that you want out, based on whatever PredictWind says the wind's gonna be. That's pretty good. You fly the self-tacking staysail, and I mean, that's good as gold. Sleep like a baby.
Like a
Like
baby.
a baby.
Well, not the person on watch, just
Well.
the person who's not on watch.
It's tempered gas. That's the whole point.
Okay.
And because we have a rainwater collection of the whole roof,
Yeah.
connects to the rainwater catches, you can lift them up and clean underneath it maybe.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
And
Very nice.
I don't know if we've properly introduced you, but this is our Captain Travis.
Hello.
You hail from North Carolina?
Yeah, North Carolina, originally from Tennessee, but been in the Bahamas for a while.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you've been sailing Xquisites for the last 2 years, is that what I heard?
Yeah, a few years now.
You've sailed them all or just the X5 Plus?
We run the charters and all of the new owners training, and so we are on all the models. So mostly the X5 Plus, and then of course our new 60.
Okay, somebody hands you, a winning lottery ticket tomorrow. Which Xquisite would you buy?
I would buy a new E Plus, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is gonna be a full speed test.
With a C state.
That is full throttle. You can see we've got a little bit of swell. Are we going straight into the wind?
It's 130 degrees off, so that's
And
pushing us a bit.
our GPS speed is almost 9 knots. Yeah, wow. Wow. Okay.
Can I try being a YouTuber for 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay, so we're here on the brand new Exquisite X5, hole 29. I'm
Plus?
with my great friends, Nikki and Jason. What more could you ask for? This is as good as it gets. The sun on your face, the wind in your hair, this is wonderful.
it's an X5 Plus.
It's an
What
X5
else?
Plus,
X5
total.
Plus, yes.
He's a total
My
fail.
First one.
Total fail.
That's why I don't do YouTube.
This is nice. Thank you.
I try, bro.
9 knots with a sea state against the wind, full throttle. Not too shabby. Okay, you can save energy now and
Okay.
go back to normal speed. This is our standard cruising.
Recommended cruising RPM.
Yeah, about 2,200, 6 to 7 knots, still against the wind, and still in a little bit of a sea state. That is very comfortable.
Well, we are headed back in, so that's the end of our sail today. And I kind of feel like I've said most of the things running through my head right now, but you know how it is. It's always like once you've had a little bit of time to settle on everything, you kind of come up with a few more thoughts. But the one thing that I would really like to experience on this boat, just because, well, it's beautiful and it's very luxurious on a day like today, champagne sailing for sure. You can have your sim glass out. But what is it like in heavy weather? What's this like during a storm? I have to make my way onto somebody's ocean crossing eventually to experience this boat in proper seas. Proper heavy seas. And we are back. All right. Continuing on the tour, we have got an electric grill here, outdoor sink. Very nice, actually. This is all.
Hey, it's one beer.
Don't mind if I do. Okay. A little storage area for glasses. That's kind of a very nice little outdoor bar section. Got the windows that you can go either direction. If you want to open that up a little bit further into the galley, we've got a big, beautiful island here with lots of dry food storage here.
I thought we weren't going to open everything.
Yeah, that's true. I shouldn't open everything. This will be an hour-long tour, but I am going to show you this one.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Standard. Not an option. Standard.
Beautiful.
And that is kind of the name of the game with Xquisite, which is again another thing that makes them very different, is there are not a lot of options when you go to order one of these things. They just come with everything because they just had this philosophy. So Tomas is the guy that started the company. He's like the CEO, but he was an around the world cruiser. He chartered, he had multiple lives. before he started Xquisite. Everything he was frustrated about, angry with about his boat, he wanted to approach the market and just make it everything he always wished he had. So with the boats, he outfitted them the way that he wanted them, the way that a world cruiser wants them. And he kind of doesn't care if you don't want the dishwasher. Probably you're going to get the dishwasher. You're going to get the speaker system. You're going to get the refrigerator. Like, you get everything. There are very few boxes to tick. It was very surprising how few boxes, because normally the option list is long and you don't get fenders. So half the time you don't even get sails on a lot of these boats. So like your base price might be $6.99 for a brand new boat, but that is not ready to sail away. You're going to need hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of check boxes before that boat is ready to sail away. So it's always so deceiving, and it's
really a stupid game.
Well, it's not even always a game, honestly, because some of them are, maybe you're a world cruiser, maybe you're just a coastal cruiser, maybe you're whatever. So different needs, different sailors, different boxes. And so this one is built for a very specific type of sailor. And that is just what it is. All right, continuing on.
Can I say something?
Okay, fine.
It also makes it really hard to compare the weight. So when you look at the weight of this boat, it seems like it's crazy heavy. And I'm not going to call it a super lightweight boat, but all that really matters is, can it sail? And can it sail in light wind? And we experienced the other day that it seems like it can. Remember, it has tools, and it has a dishwasher, and it has blah, blah, blah. It has all these things. So that's something that took me a while to kind of think about, to wrap my head around. So that's why I wanted to share it. Okay, back to you.
Good point. Finishing up the galley quickly, induction, convection oven. This is really what I wanted to show you, because this is a...
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right? Massive drawer. So you've got, like, maybe you've got an Instapot or a bread maker or something like that. It actually fits in this space back here. They thought about that. And it's a great storage space for it, because you can still get to all of your things here, and then you still have all of your other drawers. But it takes advantage of that really big, deep space back there. All right, you can get the double sink or one big sink, because I did ask that. I am not personally a fan of the two little double sinks, but to each their own, because some people like washing dishes where you fill up one side with the soapy water and you rinse in the other. Not my style, because why would you when you have the dishwasher? Just need to wash big pots and pans, but you got the option depending on what kind of a dishwasher you are. The command station with actual office chairs. Big space. They've got C-zone.
What, everything you need, whatever.
Yeah, all the things. Your navigation. The salon area is yet again another very big table that lowers as well. You can definitely have a dinner party for, I don't know, 12 on this boat. I will say the TV placement on this one is pretty good. Because
And there's a subwoofer right underneath you,
Oh, is there? Yeah.
Full surround sound, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I guess so. There's storage underneath all of these.
Lithium batteries.
Yep, your lithium batteries are back here. The TV is cool because that does lower down into that cabinet, so it gets rid of it unless you're watching it.
I also want to point out that the wiring on these boats is really tidy. It's all labeled. It's really neat, and that, I think, is really important when you're working on things.
And by neat, you mean tidy.
Tidy, organized, clean, easy to see everything. You can see all the individual wires. It's not all just jumbled together. That's what I mean. Okay, so in here is the bar, and there, whoa, I guess the bar is optional. This is a huge, perfectly cut out tool setup. I didn't even know this was gonna be here, so that's why I'm kind of surprised. Everything you need to work on this boat is located right here, so that could be a bar if you want, or additional refrigeration, he said. There's, yeah, all these tools come standard. Everything you need to work on this boat. Plus they have a spares kit that has pumps. Every type of pump, you have one spare. Every fuse, breakers, anything that might fail, you get a spare. And the beauty is, it's just a pop-in replacement, and then you hopefully can fix whatever's broken, bilge pump, and then use it as your spare in the future. So this is just tools, 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 tools. I mean, there's more, geez, yeah. Okay. A lot of tools. Almost full-size fridge, because it is 2 drawers, and one like standard. And then on this boat, my favorite thing has got to be, these people must be coffee geeks because they have a Fellows coffee maker. That's fancy pants.
That's fancy.
But I will say, guys, you should upgrade your grinder.
One thing I almost forgot to mention is that there are privacy shades everywhere. Anywhere there's a window or door, you have a shade. And this comes with a built-in full enclosure that goes around the entire cockpit. Again, all standard stuff, not options. All your cushions, standard, not options.
It's really nice to have all this privacy when you're at a dock.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the other boat so that we can see down in the hulls.
So if you're gonna order a boat now for 2025, 2026, it's gonna be the X5E Plus. And with that model, you get this new transom that is extended, and it has this crazy ladder that
Crazy awesome.
goes very, very deep. And the concept behind that is when you're coming up after scuba diving, you can literally walk up with your tank on and then sit your butt right here, take off your tank. So they really thought about that. Clearly, Tomas, the owner, is a big diver. He loves diving, so he set these boats up like that. Also with the new boat, you'll get paint, so you don't have to go with white gel coat. You can do any color of paint, he said. And
Okay, we're not selling it.
I know, the other thing is you now have a hard top over the helm with solar integrated into it. That's pretty cool. Okay, come on. Okay, coming down in the engine room, we did a sound test while we were sailing with the insulation in here. It's actually really well insulated.
We are headed out to sea right now, and I thought first thing we'll start with is engine noise, which you hear very little of. Considering there are 2 diesel motors roaring right now getting us out of here, normally, first thing you want to do is get those sails up so you can cut those motors because they're freaking annoying because
They
they're
rattle
loud
like
and they
hell.
rattle everything, but they've clearly done a very good job with all of their sound barrier and insulation because it's quiet. Unlike that thing passing us right now. That's what you would normally hear.
It's a nice big space to work on the engine. You've got sound dampening all on the hatch and then also around here. That's what keeps the vibrations down. That's why it's so quiet. Look at this.
Nice little step there with the battery.
Yeah, okay, now we're going higher RPMs. Let's see what happens when we shut it.
Wow, such a difference. While we are talking about motors, thought we would pop down to the cabin and see what it sounds like while you're sleeping at night if you were motoring. It's still pretty quiet.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah, like, I mean,
But
that's
it's
always
not
the
bad.
thing. You're always going to hear it, but it's not. Minimal vibration and minimal noise, which is what you really want. And a lot of times I feel like in the bedrooms it's pretty good on most catamarans, totally honest, but outside, that might be the most quiet I've ever heard a motor on a catamaran. Would you agree?
I agree. A diesel.
A diesel.
Motor, yeah.
I mean, aside from
An
if you
electric
have an
motor,
electric motor, can't compete with that. But for a diesel motor, that's very, very quiet out there. And here, this is still well insulated in here. This is a nice cabin.
We'll do a tour later.
Yeah.
So in the engine room, there is lots of space in here to do work, which is nice. It has an integral system, which is a 9,000 watt charger. The new version will be the E Plus, and it's gonna have the integral E drive, which is a 15 kilowatt motor. So that can work as a generator, it can work as an electric motor. Obviously it works with a diesel, so it's a hybrid system. They've really been pretty clever. There's a little storage for your oil stuff here. There's a step. They really thought about a lot here. And then while I'm back here, I should say that there's solar on the davits. It's rigid panels and it has openings or gaps underneath. So it has lots of cooling capacity, which is really good for efficiency. And then the tender comes up really high and it sits nice and level. So there is a rain capture system. And this is the freshwater fill. This little device goes on here, sets in there, and you still put the lid on. And all the water comes rushing in here. It's amazing with the downpour how much water you can capture in just a short amount of time.
All right, so this is the guest hall, coming down these nice, evenly spaced stairs.
Yeah, that's a big one, huh?
It's a big one. So often the stairs down into the halls are different shapes, or the too skinny or odd, and
Slip.
it's a trip hazard. It really truly is. It's incredible, actually, how much of a trip hazard it can be. So those are really nice, and there's storage in the steps as well. Okay, we'll start in here because I can't figure out where to go.
Yeah.
Nice size cabins. These look like queen size beds and storage cabinets all around. So that's your closet space, and then there is this nice kind of long, I don't even know what to call this, more storage all throughout here as well. So that's really good for a guest cabin, because often you just don't have a lot of storage. So that's quite a lot. And underneath the bed as well. And then a shower and a head here. So once it's open, the whole thing, it feels very large in here. It's a very big shower, considering each has its own kind of ensuite head and shower. It's quite impressive. That was the aft cabin. Moving forward, it's honestly kind of the same, which is really cool, because typically one or the other is a heck of a lot. Exactly, because it's usually way smaller, and it's typically your forward one because you're coming into the V and there's just not as much space. But you still have a lot of cabinets here, and the bed is a little bit smaller, like it's got that shape, but not by a lot. And you still get the same shower and head in here. I mean, it's very nice accommodations.
Going down to the owner's side. A couple interesting things here that I'll start with. All the blinds, they have like the day shade, which adds nice soft light, and they have the blackout shades for our sleeping. That's nice. Fans, obviously. All the bilges are slanted, so they go like this. They collect in one area in the center, so that way there's only one spot where you have to get out the wet dry vac and suck everything up. So that is interesting. Over here by the bed, you have a world plug. It's so easy. I don't know why every boat doesn't have this, but you can plug in any type of plug. European, African, UK, American. As long as it has a transformer like a laptop, it'll work. Of course, USB-C's everywhere. The master cabin, it's pretty similar. I think my phone's going off.
Quite on set.
I don't have anything to say about it. It's just as nice as the other one.
Right? Yeah, like it seems all accommodations are generally equal.
Yeah, it's very nice. Except the big deal, you get a massive closet space here for all of your wardrobe.
As I'm standing here at the closet, there is one thing I realized I have not pointed out, which is just how nice all of their cabinetries and their finishings are. It really is top notch. So often you go into so many of the boats, and while they're really lovely and they're very nice, and sometimes it's about weight or this, that, or the other, but a lot of times it can feel kind of like IKEA. It's a lot of laminate, and these just have a very different look and feel to them. So there's a few different manufacturers I feel like they do a really solid, beautiful job with their finishings, like the fit and finish of everything, and I feel like Xquisite is definitely one of them.
And then a huge bathroom, and of course they have the Tecma toilets, which are kind of, everybody calls them some of the best toilets. There's other great toilets, but those are really, really nice. And then you get a big shower in here, definitely a two-person shower, and then with a little seat so when it gets really rough. And then right here we have full-size washer dryer. You can get this washer dryer as vented or unvented. This one is unvented, but in the boat we're staying on, it's vented, and my clothes dried in like 30 minutes. It's been so long since I've had a vented dryer. I was just like, wow. Okay. And that's an X5. Yeah. Now we're gonna go meet with one of the owners, because you get the sales pitch from a lot of companies, but really when you talk to the owners, you get to know the real deal, like how they really feel about everything. And this gentleman that we're gonna meet with has been here for a little while. We've met him a couple times at the bar in the afternoon, so he's agreed to be on camera.
My name's Dave Hill, and I reside in Colorado when we're not here on the water. My wife's name is Janet. She's not here sitting with us today, but is critical to all the decisions we've made to get us to this point. I grew up in Chicago sailing on small boats, moved to Colorado with obviously no big hope of open water sailing, but a Hobie Cat that worked really well on the reservoirs there. 20 years later, kids were grown and it was time to revisit the water and look at different experience on the water.
Have you had any other catamarans before this, aside from the Hobie Cat?
No, we started looking in 2018 and it was frankly a lot of YouTube research. As we filtered them out, it kept leading up to Xquisite. And there was an individual that did a long passage and he documented this thing meticulously. I think he had 2 weeks on board, so it was a fairly experienced perspective to bring to this for YouTube. And we got an opportunity to meet with Tomas, and he invited us on one of the rendezvous over at Staniel Key. And the first one was 4 boats and did passages back, and that was all it took.
Oh, that's interesting. So you actually got to go sailing on the boats, like extended, not just out for a day sail.
Right, yeah, passages back to Florida and up and down the chain in the Exumas.
So why the Xquisite? Because you said you were looking at lots of different things. So what was it that drew you to the boat?
For Janet, having a floating condominium, if you will, was important to her because she didn't grow up sailing. She didn't even grow up anywhere near water. So this was a new experience and it needed to be comfortable and it needed to be safe. And it had to perform reasonably well for me. And so those things kind of came together. Something we didn't think about initially in the evaluation though was culture of the company and the owners. Those experiences with the rendezvous, it was like the deal closer. Because now we have a really good group of people and they talked about their experiences with the support and how the boat is growing with the upgrades and so on. It was like, well, okay, now culture's an issue in buying this boat and buying into the company.
Yeah.
That wasn't on
your
list.
radar.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you don't really think about that whenever you're getting into it. You think you're buying a boat and that's that, and yeah, you might make friends with some of the other owners of the same vessel so that you can kind of share information and such, but that usually happens with the owners individually, not necessarily with the manufacturer helping to create the community as much. Some of them do a pretty good job. Like I know like Outremer has like their Outremer weeks and some stuff like that. So I know there is some of it, but I've never seen it to this extent. So we're actually calling this the Commune because that's what it feels like.
You have a drink of the Kool-Aid. And,
yeah. Well, it's just like there's so much going on. It really does create like its own little village, its own little like utopia in here of you get your service done, you're getting your maintenance done, you can just come and hang out. Like there's restaurants, there's everything you would need here, and that's hard to find. I mean, go to any marina, and there's some really beautiful marinas, but they're not specific to you, your boat, and everybody else who owns the same boat. So it is.
That's right.
The culture feels different.
I like this, but Janet likes it even more. We come in and she knows most of the people and they know her, and then we come over to the restaurant and we know most of the people and they know her, and it's just very comfortable second home.
So when did you buy your boat? What year? What did you take delivery?
We took delivery in 21 in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, so
this didn't exist. This wasn't new yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is your 4th season. So then you're out of your warranty period.
Yes.
Okay. So now I want to get into the nitty gritty because now I'm really curious. So like your delivery and your handover. And so you get this big spiel about what that process is like. But what was your process like?
Well, we took delivery, and again, this is the largest boat we've ever been involved with, and we were away from sailing, or I was away from sailing for 20 plus years, and it's changed drastically. And all this automation, which I viewed when I was on other Xquisite boats, is now mine to operate, and it was a learning curve. Sailing was the easy part. It was the systems, and we had great training from a really passionate French guy, and he just made sure we did everything right. And he was so good about, you do these things and you're not going to have problems. You don't do these things, you're going to have problems. And so it was a really valuable 2 weeks of training.
2 weeks?
2 weeks. Yeah, and it was, we sailed, but we didn't really talk about sailing that much. We talked about what to do with the boat in these situations, what is too much stress, what's just right. So I guess a bit of sailing talk, but generators, batteries, power, 12-volt systems, 24-volt systems.
You were more learning the boat and the systems.
Absolutely.
Okay, Absolutely. But that's kind of what you need during that time period.
And that was good. We got really good training, and then of course you forget, some percentage of it. Yeah. It's at least 25% in my case. So.
Warranty, did they just send people to you? Like where'd you end up having warranty work done when you had stuff that
We've had warranty. So our first passage back to the States after we had our first season, we had this fuel heat warning coming from the Yanmar system. But we got in, and 24 hours later, on a Sunday, Stephen, who the service manager, had arranged for a local Yanmar, not certified, but Yanmar capable person to show up on the boat and help diagnose the problem.
Cool.
So it was diagnosed, and we got the okay to
next day.
proceed. Yeah, within
24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours.
That's fast.
And we got the okay to proceed, so we made it up to Annapolis, and then we put fuel coolers on, which Xquisite covered. And apparently now fuel
I saw
coolers
that
are standard.
Yeah.
Standard.
The
So-
things you learn, right, over the years.
But
Yeah.
that was in warranty, but most recently, one of the reasons we're here now is we have these Harken furlers on our head sails, and Harken's acknowledged the problem with their design, and we've already had one replaced. That includes the motor and the entire furling mechanism.
Wow.
That was done outside of warranty. They came down to St. Martin and did it on their own. They just said, "Where are you going to be?" "Well, we're going to be here about 10 days. And
Because they knew it was a problem.
they knew it was a problem, and they'd already fixed the problem. So they had a rebuilt motor to bring down, assembly to bring down.
So they didn't wait for it
They
to
didn't wait.
break
and
on you. They replaced it before it broke on you.
Right. Well,
Okay.
I could tell. It didn't sound right, but it still was functioning. Same thing with this one. We replaced the other one here last week, and it's well out of warranty. And Xquisite is going to charge me a small labor charge for that, but it's 2 years out of warranty.
Yeah.
And they had a new assembly, a new used assembly they'd rebuilt, and it's on the boat. And we're going to go on, and it's going to be a couple of $100s. And I mean, that's just it's just above and beyond.
Yeah. It's not normal.
It's not in my experience. And
Yeah.
Not what I've heard from other boaters we've come to meet.
Yeah.
Stephen and the team have been available. I mean, I've called for good reasons and really not good reasons, and Stephen's always there. Some self-inflicted for sure. And Stephen's there, and it's okay. Have you tried this? Have you tried this? And I mean, one time it was like 2 a.m. We needed some help, and Stephen responded on a WhatsApp. It's like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
I didn't expect a response right away. It was something that could have waited a few more hours.
Not even a warranty item. No, nothing.
No, it wasn't.
Just general tech support.
It was something I forgot about from training. Yeah.
Operating costs. Are they kind of on par with what you expected? You always hear these numbers where people are like, it's 5% of the value of the boat. It's 10% of the value of the boat. What's been your experience so far?
To think about that, I don't know if we're spending $5,000 a year to fix it. Seriously.
Seriously?
Fix things. I'm not kidding. Yeah, I'm not kidding. There's an oil extractor on the boat, so an oil change is really a straightforward thing. Filter changes, I do that myself. With parts I have on board or I've bought with me, down to wherever we are.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, maybe I do more than other people, but it's not been. I spend more on polishing the boat, wax, that kind of thing.
Than you do on maintenance on other
that's,
stuff?
oh, by far, there's no question.
Okay, well,
But I like,
that's
I
exciting
like
to
it
hear.
nice and
Yeah.
shiny, and because that's good for the boat.
That is not what I thought you were going to say.
Right.
Yeah, I was expecting a bit more.
I think the culture, in the end, I've just grown to really trust Xquisite and the brand, and they care about their brand a lot. And I think about it, it all goes back to the culture of doing what they want their brand to mean and standing behind it. And that's the experience we've had.
And you feel like you have been supported as a customer, like you feel happy with
Oh,
your purchase.
completely.
Like, would you buy another one? Is there another boat on the horizon for
Yeah,
you?
there is.
And would you look outside of Xquisite?
I'm always looking because I'm just
Okay.
curious about, what, the other companies are doing. Everybody's innovating.
Yeah.
And there's great innovations coming in this whole blue water cruising and environment. So yeah, I always look around, but
Cool.
it seems like Xquisite's right there, and I just trust them to integrate things and deliver a good boat.
Can you think of anything else, Jason? Or are you just baking out there in the sun? The elephant in the room. I cannot believe we haven't talked about this yet. Jason just reminded me. So, the biggest thing about the Xquisite is it is a very polarizing design. I'm the person that's like in between. We first saw it when we were on our boat in Tahiti, and there was one sitting in the anchorage, and we rolled past it, and we were like, what is that spaceship looking thing? It's so funky and different. And spaceship and that is what so many people have said whenever they talk about it. It's sort of like the Wendello to me in certain ways. Like, they just didn't care about what everybody else is doing. They just did their own thing and designed it however they wanted it to look. And I feel like Tomas did that with Xquisite. It is its own unique look. It is very different from the other vessels out there. So when you first saw it, was it just the overall concept of the boat, or did you love it? Was it polarizing to you? What did you think when you first saw it?
Interesting, different from what I'd been viewing on YouTube for sure. Certainly not anything we charted in the BVI or seen. So it took a little while to grow on us, and then all the other benefits, outweighed that. And I don't know if my wife ever mentioned it, honestly. Whether,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean,
She was probably just like, whatever boat.
that's comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's getting us places, right?
Fair enough. Yeah, like it's important to some people and other people it's not. But I think coming from traditional looking sailboats, it's not a traditional looking boat. And it's funny because like sometimes I think if you view it from the side, to me it looks like a spaceship. If you view it from the front, I think it looks like a manta ray,
Yeah, with the action.
With the eyes, yeah, it's sort of like when it's scooping, when it's feeding. That's what I think of when I look at the front of that boat. Yeah, but it's funny. It's grown on me as well, the more that I'm around it. And then I feel like the Solar 60 and then the new power boats, they're all reminiscent, but he's gone with a different design for those as well. So it's very fascinating, like just the evolution of them all.
I think the Targa provides some functionality that supports the single-handed ability of the boat. I mean, we don't have to go up front for anything, unless something's really gone awry. It's all back from the helm. It's protected. It's dry. It's great at night passages.
Yeah, and when it's just the two of you, especially, that's really nice to just not have to wake the other person up.
Absolutely.
To be able to do a simple maneuver or to reef something or whatever else. You can just go about your business and not wake the other person up.
You're completely accurate on that.
Yeah, I get the appeal. I'm just still really shocked that you haven't had more problems.
Good components, good integration, and a great service team that when something goes wrong, it will go wrong. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All boats have problems. Yeah. It's just a matter of when, not if. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Of course.
exactly. And where.
And where? Yeah. Right. Which will be in the middle of nowhere and in the middle of the night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But they like to get on planes here, so.
Well, thanks so much for being willing to share all of this with us. And I can't think of anything else. I think that was the last of it for me. So unless there's any other final thoughts for anybody, I think kind of out there, probably where you were right before you bought your boat, any words of wisdom?
I would just say spend some time here and get, if you have the opportunity to do that, get on a boat, go out and sail. The boat is surprisingly sporty, especially when you get wind over 12, 14 knots. And it's fun. It's just fun, but it's very stable. You can choose to take as much sportiness as you want with this, given the sail plan. So spend some time on it and see if you like this and the culture fits for you.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So this is the Solar 60, which is our home for while we are here. And we are taking this out sailing tomorrow. So we will wait for any more information on that when we go out on it tomorrow. But as you can tell, based on the size of this table, this is a massive boat. It's huge. I know it's only 60 feet. Only. It's still a 60-foot boat, but it feels...
It's like 8 feet bigger than the ones we were just on, but it feels like twice the size.
It does. It feels, twice the size, for sure.
So I guess what we want to say is I have no idea how to make this video not seem like a sales pitch,
Because, just there's so much going on. There's so much to talk about.
We can't possibly cover everything. There's details about the boats that we didn't even touch on.
No.
But
details about like the things that the program, the stuff that they have going on here within this commune, and not even just individually this commune, but the Xquisite
as a whole.
Yeah.
So the boats in here, a lot of them are open for charter because they do the try before you buy, and you can charter one of these boats for a week or 10 days or something, and they say you can sail and learn as much or as little as you want because every charter is professionally exquisite, crewed, and chef.
It's a captain and a chef. So just like whenever we went out, Travis and Becky, they are part of the charter team. So they could be your captain and your chef whenever you go out, if you do a try before you buy sort of vibe. But they'll do test sails, they do the charters, and if you pay for the charter, obviously it's a charter, but you can charter the boat and then they will take your payment and put it towards your purchase if you decide to buy an Xquisite. So again, it's just like there's so many little things they do to help you get the experience and truly make an informed decision, because again, it's not the right boat for every single person. No boat is perfect for every single person, and no boat is perfect. Like even for us, like there are things that I don't love about this boat, and there's a lot that I do.
It's also limited
boat.
production, so there's not everybody can have one of these.
No.
And then so that's like great for the buyer. You can come here, you can charter, you can try before you buy, you put that money towards. But for the owners, if you charter your boat, according to Tomas, 8 times, it pays for the entire ownership expenses, the
including
operating
insurance,
expenses. Yeah,
like your insurance,
dockage, fuel,
maintenance.
whatever you spend in a year to own a boat is wiped out in only 8 charters. And if you're an owner, you don't have to worry about it being a bareboat charter, because that's not what it's about. It's professionally crewed. So
and they're not trying to like sell charters just to. It's not a charter business per se. Yeah, it's really for the like try before you buy customer sort of vibes. Anyway, it's all just been like such a fascinating take on everything, and I like that's why we're not sponsored by Xquisite.
We're not getting paid. We're not getting a discount on a boat or like nothing.
We don't get anything if you buy one. Like we have no skin in this game. We just think we thought it was really fascinating what they're doing, which is why we wanted to come and visit. And it's one of those things where it's like I hope that other manufacturers sort of take inspiration from this. Like doesn't mean they have to copycat it, but do their own version of it or whatever, because it is so intriguing and so enticing. Like it just takes so much of the stress and the pressure of buying a boat and ownership and everything else, because it can be so intimidating.
Some boat manufacturers don't even want you to start a WhatsApp group with other boaters that are in the same model as you. And here it's like they have a base where everybody comes to and they communicate, and it's I can't say enough good things about this whole experience, and that's what brought us here in the first place. Tomas reached out to us 8 years ago, 7 years, whenever we lost our life raft, he said, I had the exact same experience. He called us up.
And we had like a whole like hour-long conversation, not about Xquisite at all. Literally just about, because he had a leopard.
Service and maintenance. And
so he had a leopard catamaran, very similar to us. I think he had a 42 and we had the 43. So it's like we had very similar models, and he had the same exact thing happen to him. But he also got dismasted on his boat and so many other things. But he's also sailed a lot more miles than we ever did in ours. So, but it was just, that's how we connected so many years ago. We've kept up ever since. And then
in that time he built this, and it's like our curiosity about this place and the stories you hear from people, we just wanted to come and see it for ourselves.
And
that's
it was like,
why we're here.
We knew Tomas, so we knew he wasn't like blowing smoke when he said what he was doing here, but it was sort of like, it just seemed a little too good to be true. But then you get here and you're like, wow, it is really impressive. Like, well done, guys. Like, you make nice boats, and you make a really nice community that is unlike anything else we've ever seen. But I hope, and it's not the last one. Like, they have intentions of making more of these.
Yeah, I don't know how he's going to do it. It takes a lot of money to do this, so you have to have the right partners, you have to have the right business model, and
it's not fair to expect it from every manufacturer, because this is really hard to achieve. Like, really, truly, it takes a lot of management time, money, and everything else. So that's why it's so impressive. Which is why I'm like, take inspiration from it, because obviously there are some boat builders that are just really great boat builders. They might not be great management at everything else. So not everybody can do this level of community and service and everything else, but it is mighty impressive.
So many things we could keep talking about, but I think it's probably time to wrap this up. Yeah. If you want to come and sail on a boat and have this wild experience, you could come here. It's like you don't have to be anybody special. You can
anybody can come and do it. So it's open. I don't have any codes or discounts or anything for you. Sorry, because I don't get anything if you do. But it's been fun for us, and then we'll see you next time when we're out on this big bad boy.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Bye.